Hey everyone, good Saturday evening to you all. Hope everyone is enjoying this beautiful weekend. I guess that depends on where you live, but it's beautiful in Oklahoma. My youngest two kids are enjoying an overnight stay at Grandma's. They absolutely love going to my parents' house, and I'm grateful for that relationship and thankful for my awesome mom and dad. So they're enjoying that this evening, and my lovely wife Caroline is actually at the movies seeing a great flick with our oldest son Addison on a kind of a mommy-son date and doing something fun with him. So I'm just enjoying an evening at home and watching some College World Series baseball and waiting for my beloved St. Louis Cardinals to come on. It's a late start tonight because they're out in Seattle on the West Coast. But anyway, I have decided to kind of start a series of these live videos titled Wisdom from the Recliner. So this is volume 1, and I have a specific topic that I'm going to share some thoughts on. And then, hey Kathleen, how you doing? Good to see you on here. And then I want to give everybody kind of an update on me and kind of our next steps and kind of what we're thinking and what we're planning, and how all of you all can be a part of that and help us. So I had put out a post earlier today, and then someone said they would love to hear more. And so I thought tonight would be, hello Fran, nice to see you as well. I thought tonight would be a great night to just elaborate on a post regarding the subject and the topic of God's will. This has been something that I've dealt with definitely as an adult, and I know so many people, this is a topic, an area, a subject matter, something that's on their minds, something that occupies energy, time, space, and is not always an easy thing to navigate through. And I know, as I've had revelation for me personally and what I believe today, it's truly changed my life. It's brought so much peace and just such an ease to be able to just know at all times that I'm in God's will. And of course, this is my personal belief system. This is what I think is true. But I'm one person out of 7.7 billion, and that doesn't necessarily make me right. Good evening, Leslie. Hello, Elizabeth. Glad you guys are on here. It's good to see you all. So, I don't know about you, but I've grown up in an environment where I thought that God's will was tied to a location and a vocation. Like I thought somehow you could miss God's will, that somehow God's will had to do with living in a certain part of the country or a certain part of the world, or that he had a specific place that I needed to make sure and be in at a specific time. And if not, it was kind of like maybe I didn't hear his voice, or maybe I was out of his will. And if you're out of God's will, yikes. I mean, that's scary, right? I mean, who wants to be out of God's will? Yeah, I don't, and probably you don't either. And so if it's tied to a location, then you can imagine it's like, well, am I supposed to move? Am I supposed to stay? Do I have to be a missionary in, a foreign country? And of course, the thought always is, well, God's will is probably going to be the exact thing I don't want to do, or the exact thing that makes me super uncomfortable. Anybody ever had that thought besides me? Somehow God loves me and he's for me and he's this incredible creator, but he really wants to play kind of a joke on me, and so he's going to make his will for my life be very uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean, I've lived all this. I've heard all of it, right? So I grew up being taught that God's will somehow had to do, first and foremost, with a location. And it was taught and assumed that you could miss God's will. You could miss God's voice. And if you were out of God's will, you could miss out on blessings. You could miss out on favor. You could miss out on all kinds of good stuff. You know what I mean? And so anyway, the other part is I was taught that God's will was tied to your vocation. I've had many great conversations with my father about this, and my father totally was taught this. In fact, it totally dictated and guided his decision making in college, and he's had some regrets regarding his professional career path and certain things that he chose to do because he really thought that like God had a specific vocation for him. So, what if he went against that? But at the same time, again, well, what if you didn't really want to do that vocation? And what if you somehow picked the wrong one and now you're out of God's will? Yeah, that's scary, isn't it? So I was taught, I was raised, and I grew up with a belief system that said God has a will for your life. It's tied to location and vocation. You can absolutely miss his will. You better tune into his voice. You better make sure you're paying attention, because if not, then God forbid you miss his will and you live in the wrong location or you choose the incorrect vocation, you're in deep doo-doo. You know what I mean, right? Like, you are out of God's will. I'm out of God's will, and it can't be good. So I want us all to evaluate, is that our belief system? Is that, what we've been taught? I mean, I see so many things on my Facebook thread as I've been on this 9-month journey. Hey, Lee, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're on here. And Jerry, it's nice to hear from you as well. Lee, we were just talking about you and Michael tonight before Caroline went to the movies. Just thinking about you. Love y'all so much and just believing still for a miracle. But anyway, I see so many people putting comments and sharing thoughts around this idea of God's will, and how that can be tied to also, hello, Kimberly, hello, Carrie, how that can be tied to some physical outcome, like my physical outcome or another person's cancer diagnosis and then their physical outcome. And somehow people get this idea that like God has a will for one, it might be different for another, and then they kind of wait to see what actually occurs, and then they decide. I mean, it's like, well, what kind of God are we believing in if we think somehow his will just fluctuates, changes? It's kind of one thing for one person and another for another. And what if we are constantly not sure if we're really in God's will? And could the outcome be one that seems, not very good? And if the outcome doesn't turn out very good, does that mean somehow that like God's will is, tied to the fact that maybe I've got some sinning going on in my life? Or, I mean, I don't know about you, but like this becomes a real nightmare of a subject, a real nightmare of an issue, and it really robs us of peace. And I think it robs us even more of this idea that God like is crazy about us. He loves us. He wants good for us. I think it's a misunderstanding of how planet Earth works and how evil and bad things and certain outcomes and circumstances can play out, and what that looks like, in relation to this idea of God's will. And so I just share all that, not to tell you that I've got it all figured out, not that I have all the answers, but I know as I go into now kind of sharing with you what's changed for me in regards to my belief system, I can just tell you I've got peace about my location. I've got peace about my vocation, and I've definitely got peace regarding my circumstances, whatever outcome occurs, and anything that's going on. And you just can't put a price on living in total peace. I mean, we're all going to have planet Earth hit us at one time or another. We're going to have tough circumstances that no one else would wish on their worst enemy. It's just bound to occur if you're on this planet for very long. And so to know that we could still experience peace in the midst of all that, I mean, you just can't put a price on it, folks. So in the last several years, I got introduced to this idea that God's will wasn't tied to a circumstantial outcome. It wasn't tied to a location or a vocation, that there was a reason why we were given reign on planet Earth. There was a reason why we have free will. That obviously God always enjoys when we make decisions or choose things out of a proper identity of who we are in Him. That really His will is that we simply believe in the finished work of Jesus Christ. And again, that's my personal belief. I am totally comfortable, and it's okay. You may be listening tonight, and you may believe differently, and that's fine. Again, I don't have the market cornered on perfect interpretation of God or the creator of the universe or the higher power or whatever anyone is comfortable calling or looking at tonight. I can just share what I believe, what I know, and how it's changed my life. And so John 6:29, I especially love the New Living Translation of this verse, but it basically just says, and let me kind of paint the picture for you, this scenario. It's right after, if you're familiar with the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000 with the 2 loaves of bread and the 5 fish, and that incredible miracle, obviously, where He expands just this little bit of bread and fish to feed all these people. The disciples are just blown away. I mean, it blows their butt out of the water, right? And they are invigorated. They're excited. So like after it's over, it's like, man, they're thinking, man, when can we go on and do the next miracle, Jesus? Like, whoo, this is incredible. They're feeling giddy, right? And it's kind of like Jesus just kind of calms them down. And He simply looks at the disciples and He says something so powerful. He says, guys, the only work that God wants from you is to just believe in the one He sent. Yeah, that's God's will. He just wants us to believe in Jesus. Because when we have our eyes focused on what He's done for us and we understand our true identity, then no matter what we're facing, no matter what we're going through, we can be at peace. No matter what our location is, no matter what our chosen vocation is, if we change a bunch, if we stay in one for a long time, no matter what our circumstances are, no matter what planet Earth throws our way, it doesn't matter. We can remain in God's will because it's not tied to a location, a vocation, or a certain outcome to any type of circumstance. And all I can tell you is, man, wow. And you might go, well, Ryan, that all just sounds good, but I need something else. I need more scripture, or I need more information. Look, all I would encourage you to do tonight is, if you find yourself having a hard time knowing or believing or thinking whether or not you're in God's will, and that's robbing you of peace, or you're always wondering about all your decisions and you don't like that area of your life, just talk to God about it. Talk to the creator of the universe. Talk to the higher power and talk to them and tell them how you feel. And then just dive in and just believe you will find truth. You will find the answer. Seek and you shall find. I really believe that. And let me just tell you, it's transformational. It absolutely is. And you're right, Stephanie. When we realize this, man, we can just be, we can act, be, live, do, and there's just total peace. You're not second guessing all your decisions. You're not questioning things every time you make a decision and the results don't happen to turn out in the most ideal way. You can just go, well, okay, I learned. I did the best I could with the information I had. How do I move forward? How do I make, the best of this now? So anyway, guys, those are my thoughts and things that I wanted to share. Wisdom from the Recliner, Volume 1, regarding God's will. Let me give you a quick update on me and kind of the thoughts that are going through Caroline and I's mind right now. Many of you probably have seen the picture I posted in the last week or so of the tremendous difference you can see in me and my face visually and stuff that's been happening over the last 90 days. I mean, healing is occurring. Many of you also probably saw a picture of the PET scan and saw that there's been a dramatic reduction in the amount of cancer that is showing up in my body. The tumor load that was from my groin to my neck There's absolutely no longer any cancer from the report that shows in my spleen any longer, which, man, praise God for that. I mean, nobody wants cancer in their organs at all. And then obviously there's been a massive reduction in cancer in the neck and the chest, down in the groin area, and then there was a huge mass in my stomach, and it's been reduced greatly. But we obviously still have some work to do. And so a lot of you know I've also been dealing with this ascites, the fluid buildup in the abdomen, and some pleural effusions where the fluid can also build up around my lungs. Hey, Don, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're on tonight. And anyway, we have actually just started. I've already done 3 IV treatments specifically. I'm doing a glutathione push. Hey, Wayne, nice to see you, buddy. That specifically can help my liver. I'm doing some vitamin C as well. And then also what's called alpha lipoic acid to specifically help with the fatty acid problem that I have in my liver. There's just no question in our mind. The liver is the challenge. And once we can help the liver heal and fix the liver and it can totally be functioning and operating at correct levels, then we truly believe the fluid's going to stop. In fact, I'm holding on to hope. I am sensing and feeling like maybe the fluid has slowed down a little bit this week. So I'll be back in on Monday to do another 3 days of that very targeted treatment starting on Monday. So just keep believing and praying with us. But I also want to just say, and I'm going to go into detail here at the very end, these treatments are not covered by insurance. And we're going to have an opportunity here where we do another big ask, and we're going to need some assistance, some help, some financial support. We've held on as long as we could, and it's just going to take some more help. So if you've got it in your heart and you have the means and you want to be a part of this incredible journey, we believe you're not just giving to me and to us, but we're doing everything we can to share, to give back, and to be a blessing for so many other people who we know are on this journey and battling. And hopefully that's our way of adding value and saying thank you for so many of you that have helped us out financially and may continue to be doing that. The other aspect is we are waiting for the Greece blood test. We should get our results back this week. And then we're going to make a decision, and I'm going to start on some additional alternative treatments. We're evaluating things I've done in the past, like Coley's toxin, B17 Laetrile, PNC 27. Those are just a few. There's some others that we're also reevaluating from things I've done and how they may have worked, and should I get back on those. We're also considering GCMAF. And we're looking at where we might need to go in order to get this done. We're probably going to have to travel for a few weeks, which actually might be healthy for our family anyway. Sometimes to just get away from your home base and your life and the routines and just all the day in, day out that we have to do can be healthy, especially for Caroline and the kids. Hello, Sandy. Hello, Caroline. Glad you guys are on here. And so anyway, but all of that's going to obviously cost us money, and we will definitely update everyone once we've made a decision. We're evaluating some different clinics. We've gotten in touch with an alternative doctor from another state that we really like a lot, and so we may be exploring possibly going to different places. We just don't know exactly yet, but probably in the next 2 weeks we'll be making a decision. So I'll be posting soon, but just know ahead of time that we're going to probably need some help based on what it's going to take for like the next 6 months. We think in the next 6 months, if we stay focused on detoxing, if we stay focused on diet, if we hit whatever alternative treatments we decide my body will respond best to based on the Greece blood test results, for a solid 6 months that we can eradicate the remaining parts of this cancer. We believe this fluid issue is going to resolve itself sooner than later. And obviously, we believe maybe by the end of the year, we'll be back in a position where I could go back to work, hopefully starting in 2017. Of course, you know, all of this is unknown. Maybe it'll happen faster, and it could always take longer. All we know is the body is healing. We believe that I am going to be NED there's going to be no evidence of disease. And when those scans come, boy, we're going to throw a party, aren't we? It's going to be so awesome. So just know I'll be posting all the details, but we have our GoFundMe set up. We have PayPal available, and you can even mail a fully tax-deductible check to our church, and I can get anyone all those details. But this is the big ask, okay? We're asking 450 people. When I do these live videos, there's over 500 people who tend to watch these. Sometimes there's as many as 3,000 people. Based on, our blog post and followings on Facebook, we know that now there are thousands, if not 10,000s of people all over the world. We know a lot of those people, they need their own financial help and financial means because of what they're going through, and we understand that completely. But we're asking for 450 people to consider, pray about, and see if you could commit to helping us with just $100, because we believe $45,000 will allow us to get all the treatments I need, cover all the cost, make sure everything's taken care of monthly, and we're going to do everything we can to make that last the rest of the year for a total of 6 months. So I will post my GoFundMe account in this thread. I will post my email address for those of you that want to use PayPal. And I will also, Kimberly, I see your comment on there. I will post the address for the church. You can actually mail it to the church, get a 100% tax deduction for yourself, your business. If you know some philanthropists or people who are always looking for a great cause to donate, some big time money to possibly, please share our story. I'm willing to talk to someone on the phone. I'm willing to answer any specific questions, give them any details, whatever it may be, because there's a lot of people out there that they always want to find good places to give, because otherwise they're going to give that money to Uncle Sam anyway. So I'll post those details, and then in the next few days, early next week, I plan to do some posts to share it with everyone. And so maybe just be considering in your heart if that's something you can be a part of. There are no expectations, and if you just don't want to or you're not in a position to, please, no big deal at all. We have always been provided for. It's been an amazing journey, and I just feel so grateful and so thankful that I can talk to you guys, that I can share from my heart, and that I can ask. And it's going to be a great weekend. My son's got some more basketball games tomorrow. I sure enjoyed getting out and watching him today, and I feel really good. And I'm going to watch him again tomorrow. And then I just look forward to, these continued targeted treatments. Maybe this will be the week that the liver finally gets to a place and this fluid buildup will stop. I am getting the fluid drained out Monday morning, and I'm just kind of anxious. I think maybe it's going to be less. I've been having about 3.5 to 4 liters a week come out, and I don't feel as full, and I haven't had as much pain lately, so I'm very, very thankful for that, and just looking at some positive signs of some incremental improvements. So anyway, guys, I've rambled long enough. Thanks for being a part of Volume 1, Wisdom from the Recliner. I'm Ryan Lelf. I love y'all. Have a great night. I'll post all the details here shortly. Thank you. Bye-bye.